In this video, I'll be talking about the CPT renewal application or the CPT application. So if you are enrolled in a CPT University, if you are enrolled in a program and are working under internship or a paid employment with an employer, then you would apply for a CPT. So the renewal of the CPT is basically a new application so that the CPT will start after the end date of your previous CPT. So for the renewal of CPT, you'll follow all the steps that are for the CPT application. So in this video, I'm going to cover the step-by-step method for the application of CPT renewal or CPT application in Day 1 CPT University. I'll also be showing you a demo application on how to submit the CPT renewal application. So let's start. So most of the students have this question, when do I start the CPT renewal process? So remember, start this process as early as 45 days before the end date of your current CPT. So I have mentioned previous CPT because it is the CPT that is ending. So before the end date of your current CPT, you need to start this process at least 45 days. Why I'm telling 45 days is because you need some additional days to deal with your current employer as well, because they would take around 15 days of time to give you the documents that you require. I'll be mentioning you what documents you will be requiring in order to apply for the CPT application or CPT renewal. And on the other hand, the school requires around 30 days to process the CPT renewal application during peak time. So usually the students will either be applying during the December month or during the months of May. So these are peak times and also like slow times uh, because of Thanksgiving, Christmas, or summer holidays at the school. So I would recommend you to apply at least 45 days before your previous CPT end date. Now, when I say that start this process, I'm telling about the process starting. It is not the submission of the CPT. So 15 days, 10 to 15 days, you will be dealing with your employer to provide all the required documentation. And then when that day comes, you will start your CPT application and be ready to apply for the CPT. And that application date would be 30 days before the end of your current CPT program. And usually, non-peak time requires 14 business days by the school. Now, 14 business days is actually 20 days, including the weekends. So, what is the eligibility of the CPT? So, first thing is you need to get a job and you need to have a job offer letter from the sponsoring employer. When I say sponsoring employer, it means an employer who is ready to sponsor you on the CPT. So the employer will be aware that your work authorization is CPT and he should be ready to provide his approval or signature on the CPT agreement given by the college or school. You need to have a USA address. That means you need to be present within the confines of United States. Then the latest CPT date is 4 weeks before the semester ends. So that means you need to be enrolled in a semester, and before the semester is ending, the latest CPT date is 4 weeks before that semester end date. And also remember, if the position is paid, you would require SSN, which is Social Security number. It is obtained from Social Security office. I'll make another video on how to get an SSN for the first time in the United States. So SSN is usually taken one time if there is no identity theft or fraud. So I'll be making a video on that. Now, what are the documents required from the employer? So please remember, I'll be mentioning all the documents that are required from the employer. You need to start collecting this document 45 days before the end date of your current CPT. You need to get the job offer letter. Now, the job offer letter, if the employer is going to remain the same, you might have a job offer letter. And whether you can use an old job offer letter or not, I can explain in detail when I mention the job offer letter requirements. So just remember, job offer letter is required. You require a job description letter. Even if you get a promotion or if your role changes within your company, you would require a job description letter of your new roles and responsibilities. Now, third is you require a signature or approval on the CPT agreement, which is provided by the school. So each of the schools have their template for the CPT agreement and conditions. So these are the conditions that are stipulated by the school to follow the regulations of USCIS, and this will have those details so that the employer knows about the conditions of the CPT, and that particular document requires a signature from the school. It requires a signature of the student. It requires a signature from the employer. So usually when the template is given by the school to the student, it is already signed by the school. So you get that document, you fill in the details that can be filled by the student, and then you provide your signature, and the supervisor name, first name, last name, email address, phone number will be filled by the employer, and then the employer signs the document to agree on the CPT requirements. And that particular document is required, and it might take 15 days from the employer end to understand the CPT requirement. They will have questions, so they will ask you those details. You would have to provide them. You have to convince that the program that you are enrolled in will help in your job, and that way a CPT approval is given by the employer. So that document needs to be signed. It takes around 15 days on average by the employers to provide the CPT agreement document to the employee. So that's why I have mentioned start this process 45 days before the end date of your current CPT. Now, what is the requirement of the job offer letter? So please remember, first thing is it must be on a company letterhead. It must be addressed to the student or student's email address. And the other requirements is that it should contain job title and description. Now, it may or may not contain the job roles and responsibilities. If it does not contain, then only you would have to provide a job roles and responsibility or job description letter, which consists of the roles and responsibilities. So if your job offer letter is consisting of all the details, including the description, roles and responsibilities, then you do not require to provide a separate job roles and responsibilities letter. Okay, please remember that. And then the job offer letter should also have the employment address such as street, city, state, and zip code. And it should also contain the company contact details, including phone number and email. And it should have a start date mentioned in the job offer letter. Now, here I have mentioned to you, if we are working for the same employer and continuing with the same employer in the next CPT term for which you have applied the CPT renewal, then can we use the old job offer letter or not? Yes, old offer letter can be accepted by the school if no end date is listed on the job offer letter. So please make sure of this. And if you get promoted or if your job role changes, if you have changed departments, then you would have to provide a new job description letter to the school when you are applying for the CPT renewal. So now I'm going to show you a demo application of applying for the CPT renewal. For the application or the demo of the CPT application or renewal, I'm going to take an example of Trine University, which is one of the largest universities with a large alumni base for the students, and it offers programs such as MBA, MSBA, and also doctorate programs. So let me show you an example of the CPT renewal application at Trine University. So this is the website to apply for CPT, for the initial CPT or for the CPT renewal, suncas.trine.edu. You need to click on login. This is going to ask you for the username and password. Click on sign in. It asks for a OTP. So basically OTP can be sent through text or through a call. Once you are logged in into the portal of CPT for your university, you need to click on the option of CPT. As you can see, log into that. It will have some details. You need to click on CPT authorization request. And once that is done, it is going to show you the e-forms that need to be filled up for the application of CPT, for the initial CPT, or for the renewal of CPT. Now, please remember that whether it is initial CPT or renewal CPT, you need to fill in all the details. You should not be like this is the initial CPT application and the renewal is something different. The renewal of CPT is basically the application of CPT for a new term, so it would require all these details. So first of all, click on US address. Once you click on CPT address, it is going to ask you to fill in the street line 1, which should include the house number and the street name. Then it is going to ask you for the city, state, and zip code where you are currently residing. So once you fill in all that information, you need to certify that the above information is accurate, and then you need to click on submit. So that will submit your one part of the application. So there are 5 parts. One of them is US address. Similarly, the second part is employment information, wherein you need to give the information of your employer and employment details and the address, phone number, etc. And this is the link to provide the employment documentation. Basically, this is where you are going to provide the job offer letter, you are going to provide the job description letter, and then you are going to provide, yeah, those two documents you will be providing here. And fourth one is student experiential learning document. So this is where your employer approves or signs on the CPT agreement, and that needs to be provided over here. And submission is basically you attest that all the information that you have provided is accurate or not. So let us look into employment information. Click on it. It is going to take you to this page. It will ask you whether you have an active Trine I-20. So this means you are basically enrolled in the program or not. Now, if you are a new student, okay, you would not be receiving I-20 a few days after your uh, so it depends. Basically, if you are a student outside United States, you would be provided I-20 for you to apply for the visa application. And then so that means you would have an I-20. So this is asking you whether you have an active I-20 or not. So for the students who are currently enrolled and who are applying for the renewal of CPT, you would definitely have an active Trine I-20. Active indicates that your service ID is activated or not, or whether it is active or not, or whether it is suspended or terminated. So that is actually what it means. So for active I-20, you would say, yes, I do have an active I-20. Why are you submitting a new application? It is going to ask you for this. So that means you need to mention that it is initial CPT if you are applying for CPT for the first time. So let me just tell you that let's assume that we are applying for CPT renewal. So it means we are going to select the option of CPT renewal or extension with the current employer. Okay, so this is what we are going to select. Do you currently have an SSN number? Now, if your job is paid, you would have to get an SSN number and then you need to apply. Okay, do you currently have an SSN number? Yes. Okay, you need to select this, and then you need to provide the official company name. And this company name, you can take this information from your job offer letter. And what is the job title? So this is the title that is mentioned on your job offer letter or your current job description letter. Okay. If you have been hired and promoted multiple times, then you would have to give the current job title. Will this be a full-time employment or part-time employment? So full-time employment is an employment which is more than 20 hours per week. If you are working less than 20 hours per week, then you need to mention that it is part-time. Okay. And please remember, if you are on CPT program in full-time for more than 1 year, then you would not be eligible for OPT. So please know that. And the CPT start date needs to be in future. Okay. It cannot be in the past, it needs to be in the future. And CPT start date should always be after the program start date that is mentioned on your I-20. Okay, you need to provide the employment start date. Now, since we are applying for the CPT renewal, what start date should I give? So this should be the date of the day after the current CPT end date. What does that mean? Let us take an example. If your CPT is ending on 1st December 2025, current CPT is ending on 1st December 2025, then the employment start date in this application should be 1 day after that end date. So that means it should be 2nd December 2025. Okay, and the end date cannot be issued for more than an year. So exactly 365 days later, the date would be 1st December 2026. So you need to mention that. You need to provide the address of the employer that is mentioned on the job offer letter, or if your uh, department or if your company has multiple headquarters or multiple offices across United States, you need to provide the address of the employer that is the office which you have been assigned to. So you need to provide the street line 1, city, state, postal zip code. Then will you be working at a different address other than the listed above? So if you are working at the office address, you would have to mention that no. If you are working from home, you need to provide your home address over here once again. Okay. After clicking the option of yes, then you need to click on I certify that the above information is accurate, and then you need to click on submit. So this will submit the second part of your application, and then you need to go back to CPT page and go to the third part, which is employment documentation. You need to say, does your job offer letter include a job description? You need to say yes or no. If the job offer letter does not have the job duties, roles, and responsibilities in detail, then you can say no. And then you need to provide the job offer letter over here by selecting this file information. And then you need to provide the job description letter, which consists of your roles and responsibilities over here. So this is optional for the additional documents. Job offer and job description letter, these are mandatory. You need to certify and then click on submit. So this is the third part. And the fourth part is where you need to provide the student experiential learning. This is basically a CPT agreement letter. Okay. And you need to get the signature of school, get a signature from yourself, get a signature from your employer or the supervisor on this CPT agreement, and you need to upload that document over here. So let's take a look for the student experiential agreement from Trine University. Okay. Now, so these are all the information you can go through, and this is the page where you have to fill in the information. Okay, I'm going to tell you what information needs to be filled in, and this is where the university has provided their signature, and this is the date. You basically need to take a CPT agreement which is latest. So the latest template provided by your university or college, you need to take that. And this is the student's signature, and you have to date it over here. And this is the employer signature, and the employer should provide the date over here. And one more question that I have received is, can I provide a handwritten signature? Yes, you can provide a handwritten signature. Can I provide a signature using PDF tools? Yes, you can provide, provided that it's the scan of your signature. Okay. And here you need to write your given name and last name. The program of study is something like MBA program or MSBA program. You need to mention email address. If you are applying for a CPT renewal, you need to mention the email address of your student account. Okay, basically the current university's email address of you need to provide over here. If you are a new student, and if you are a day one CPT student, and if you do not have a school email address yet, then you can provide your current email address, which is your personal email address, and this is your USA phone number. Okay, and this is basically the name of the employer as per the job offer letter, and this is the employer address. This is the address of the office to which you are assigned. Okay, please remember that. And this is the supervisor name. It will be filled by your employer. And this is the title of your supervisor filled by the employer. This is filled by the employer. This is filled by the employer. Work hours per week. Usually for full-time job, you work either 40 hours or 45 hours per week. So you need to mention whether it is uh, full time or part time, and you need to mention 40 hours per week. Okay, and then this is the requested, or you can mention full time bracket more than 20 hours per week. Okay, you can mention that. And requested CPT authorization date. Now in our example that we have taken, we are assuming that the end date of current CPT is 1st December 2025. So here you need to provide the dates of December 02 2025, or you need to mention in the format of MMDDYYY. Then you need to mention 2 TO2, and then you need to provide the day, which is after 365 days, so which is basically December 1st 2026. So you have started from December 2 and you have ended to December 1st. So that would be one complete year. So for Trine University, the CPT is authorized for 1 year. So we are providing the dates of 1 year. If your university provides you the CPT authorization for 6 months and require you to apply for extension every 6 months, then you would have to provide the dates that are covering only a period of 6 months, not a period of 1 year. Please remember that. And the rate of pay, if applicable, that means if it is paid position, then you need to mention either your salary per hour, or you need to mention the salary per annum, or any other per weekly or per bi-weekly, so you can mention that. So after you fill this information, you need to get the signature from your employer. That takes some time. Then you select the file and submit the file in order to complete the part 4 of the application. And then there is final part, which is the part 5. So this is submission. You need to select, I'm the person who completed the CPT application. I will request an extension. Click on this. I must update my current and permanent address within 10 days of any change. You need to click on this. You will maintain health insurance coverage for yourself and your dependents. So this might be student health insurance. If you have health insurance from your employer, then you can apply for the waiving of student health insurance. I can cover that topic in another video, but here you need to just check this. I agree that I must wait to begin working until I have received my I-20 with CPT authorization. Then click on check. So right now these options are not enabled because I have not submitted the first 4 parts of the CPT application. But if I have, then all these options would be enabled. So I check this, and then I submit my application finally, and then the application goes to the university in order for them to approve my CPT. Then what happens is you receive an I-20 with a new CPT date. Okay, so that CPT dates will cover from 2nd December 2025 until 1st December of next year in our current example. And you will also be provided with a new signature by the DSO on the back of I-20 for you to travel outside of United States. So if you have traveled outside of United States in the coming year, then in order to return, you would require a visa. You would also require the latest I-20 with the latest dates and also a signature by the DSO on your I-20. So I just want to bring this topic here. If you're traveling outside of USA as a student, you would require the signature of DSO on the back of your I-20. Okay. So I hope this video is helpful. This is for the CPT application or CPT renewal. I have provided what are the details that are required in job offer letter, and I have provided the eligibility of CPT, and finally I have showed you a demo application. This is how you fill your CPT application and you submit to your college. I hope this video helps. Please subscribe to my channel.